So John, do you want to tell us about your drinking?
Well, I started drinking when I was 13. I liked it a lot, and I never stopped.
After we did Good Will Hunting, Robin Williams bought the rights to this book, Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot. They were developing a screenplay and they wanted me to be part of it. I think Robin was interested in it because he wanted to make something that put him in the place of his friend Christopher Reeve, who was a quadriplegic, as a gift almost to Christopher Reeve. And also that he was a jokester, he was a visual comedian, a cartoonist, and that appealed to Robin a lot, of course.
Maybe you were weakened so you could become strong.
In the autobiography that John wrote, he realized that his problems weren't that he was a quadriplegic and he couldn't walk and he was in a wheelchair. His problems eventually, he realized, was that he could not stop drinking. So we started making that the focus.
I need a sponsor.
I do have a lot of piglets at the moment.
What are piglets? I need a sponsor.
My sponsees are piglets.
That's funny.
There was a chapter about Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and his sponsor, Donnie, and Donnie inviting him to his house where he would have group sessions where people would talk about their history with alcohol.
I'm Donnie and I'm an alcoholic. Hi. My day has been pretty good until I came in here and saw all of you. He becomes John's sponsor and close friend and kind of guides him through this experience of getting better and healing himself. There's no lightning bolt that shoots you and cures all your... There are discoveries and epiphanies and moments of clarity, but this doesn't just go away.
In his recovery period, I think that he was inspired enough to start doing something, and that became cartooning.
I began to feel a huge rush of energy. I suddenly realized that I had been, or should have been, a cartoonist, a gag man, all along.
I mean, Joaquin, as an actor, he just completely gets into the middle of the character, and he's very, very, very detailed.
Something really profound just happened to me, man.
He's the one that has the novel with him at all times, highlighted. Whenever we do a scene, he would read that chapter. It was incredible, like his devotion to keeping on track with the character and the story.
You know, sometimes I just want to drink. But you know, we can go to Tiny's Tavern on the weekends and drink as much as we want. I give it to us for free, you know, because they feel bad for us. Milk it.
Whenever he does a scene, he tries to fit the entire story into that scene. The energy of the story, the ideas of the story of the story, he tries to put in the scene itself, which is an interesting thing to attempt.
The last day that I walked, I woke up without a hangover.
Pretty groovy day, huh? I knew I had an hour or so of grace before the withdrawal symptoms set in.
In his story that he tells of the last day that he walks, he's drinking heavily.
I'm Dexter.
John.
Dexter says, I know a better party, let's go there. And so they basically start driving around Long Beach, but also getting sidetracked by various bars.
Keep them coming, bro.
And just getting continually more drunk until finally they just drive off the road.
Dexter had mistaken the light pole for an exit and slammed into it at 90 miles an hour.
Jack's probably one of the wildest characters in cinema. A great imagination.
You just tussled with the wrong cowboy.
Well, I just think Dexter is kind of the devil, inviting him to take a bite from the tree of knowledge. When I first got the call, I was like, what? Gus Van Sant? And I read the part, he's described as like a blowhard. So I wonder if Gus wrote the script and said, now who am I gonna get to play the blowhard? Oh, I know, Jack Black.
I've been interested in borrowing styles of the documentarian in an effort sometimes to make it look more like a documentary, make the scenes look more like they're really happening. They not only handheld, but they also had a zoom lens, they being the documentarians. So everyone sort of forgot about the zoom lens. They used fixed lenses and they handheld the cameras. So we just added the zoom lens.
I usually play characters that are more unsettled inside, and Donnie, even with all he has going on, seemed to be at peace inside. And that was a really awesome thing to get to be for a while. I just don't think I've ever been happier, more challenged, but also happier being a character for a while. The movie's about dealing with things in the realistic way, which I think this movie does, is like the goal for everything for me, you know? And I think Gus embodies that constantly. The path to enlightenment is to know yourself.
How do I know myself?
Forget yourself.